I'm going to start sharing my screen now before we begin. And as always, I will try to keep the flow of the valuation process as I go through the new features. Okay. Uh, Again, we have added some features regarding the evaluation process and tools that you're going to find within the evaluations, as well as organization and general features in the platform. The last time we were here on last masterclass, we saw that we implemented a new type of organization for evaluations, that we could put our evaluations together in folders. We have taken one further step in that regard as well. So if we're going to go to the manage valuation and folders or to all our evaluation section, you can see that we still have the capability of having the evaluation set in folders. We have all our evaluations here. But now at the top right corner, we not only have the move to folder options, but also merge companies. Okay, the idea here is that now you can have multiple valuations per company and organize that way. So let's say you want to have one restaurant or one company valued in multiple or different instances of time. You can compile those valuations in just one name and see all the valuations within that name. Just as an example, I put together this folder called Roof. This is a restaurant here in my hometown of Lima. If I go to Roof, I'm going to see that I just have one valuation in this case. But if I access that valuation, I'm going to be able to see that there are 3 different valuations under that name. Again, this at the moment is mostly for organization purposes. You can do this as you wish. When you merge a company, you will be asked which the, let's say, main company is. So you can take that name. For example, we're going to have these 2 valuations about for the same company. So I can select both of them and click merge companies. I'm going to select the target company. So which is going or what is going to be the name of that valuation. I'm going to just go with the main one. And if I hit merge, both valuations will join in just one. So we are now going to have just the original one. And if I access there, I'm going to have multiple of them. But you can see that a copy has been added to that valuation. Okay. That's the first feature I want to show you. Okay. Following that feature, I want to show you a new benchmark plus update that we have implemented into the platform. So for that, I'm going to go to an example valuation and to our business plan section at the moment. Okay. Once I am at the business plan section, remember you're going to find the benchmarking section at the top left corner of your screen. Okay. But now within these 3 little dots, we're also going to find a benchmarking plus section. Benchmarking plus will allow you to see a graphic way of benchmarking. Okay, so here you see the benchmarking in a graph. You also see the table of comparing your applied metrics versus the public comps or the benchmarking that you have selected. But now here at the top left corner, we have added some possibilities and options for you. The first one would be showing the table. So this table at the bottom can be turned off so you can see the graphic a little bit bigger, and you can include the chart in the export files as well. Now, as you recall from our previous sessions, we have added a couple of benchmarking options for the industry in different magnitudes, globally, regionally, and locally. But now for the benchmarking plus section, we have gone a little bit further. Now you're going to be able to select not only public comps benchmarking, but also benchmarking for the industry based on CAPIQ data and in community data. That means valuations that were performed using our platform. Okay. I already explained how this works, but for the graphic now we have splitted these 2 instances. So if you go to the display options, you're going to have the different benchmarking industries right here. So in your country, in your region, and globally. And then you have the community benchmark that will give you the exactly same 3 options. So your graphic is going to be a little bit more populated now because you're going to have different types of benchmarking. If you want to see this clearer, I'm going to just reduce the time frame for my evaluation to end in 2028. That's when we have most of the data. So now you can see the graphic a little bit better right there. So as you can see, we have the graphic right there, and you can see the data or the different benchmarkings that the platform is applying. Okay, this can be done again for all of the benchmarking accounts. So if I want to review my EBITDA margins as well, I can go there and basically see the same, and I can go ahead and select the same benchmarking options that I had before. Please keep in mind, this was not saved because I did not apply it on the bottom right corner. So just apply every time you make a change. So this is saved for your future evaluation or options. So if I go to EBIT now, I should see all the options selected. Unless I didn't click apply it correctly. So I apologize for that. but basically once you apply, this will be saved and that your settings will be kept for all four of your upcoming valuations. Next update that we have implemented is going to be on the valuation overview section. And this is going to be a discounting methodology update that has been implemented and has to do with the dates and time for discount. As you are aware, Valutico allowed you for full year discounting or a mid-year convention discounting before. So you could discount using a time frame or time period of 1 or 0.5 for the first forecasted year. But now what we have done is we extended these options and we also added the possibility to discount to the specific valuation date. So basically what the platform will do, will calculate the remaining amount of the year that we have ahead, and we will discount to that specific date. To make that change, you simply have to go to the change parameters section at the top right corner, and under the DCF section, you're going to have the adjustment time. You can select non-adjustment, mid-year adjustment, or adjust to valuation date. This, based on the last actual fiscal year end date and the current valuation date, will change the time for your discounting and recalculate the values of the discounted cash flows for your valuation. Okay, if we just give this a second, you're going to see that this time number is going to change as the valuation date is March 19th. So we still have 0.79 of the year to come, and we're going to discount to this specific date. Okay? We're planning further improvements in this regard, but at the moment, this is what we have implemented in the plan. Okay. These will affect all the discounting valuation methods. So flow to equity, APV, DCF, they all should be affected by this new time convention. Again, we're making these improvements so you have a little bit more precise valuation results. And as always, everything is updated automatically here at the top. Moving forward, you know that we have implemented before some compliant valuation reports. The idea that we have is that we keep adding reports and automatic reports for you that are compliant with different standards worldwide. For this release, we have added two of those new reports. One is called the APES report. This is more for Australia. And we also have added the International Valuation Standard Council recommended report structure to the platform. As you may recall, we follow the IVSC standards already. But now if you go to the export section, we have included, besides our NACVA and IACPA reports, the APES and IVSC standards as well. You're going to be able to download any of these reports at any point in time if you click export, and it will be available for all of your valuations. Okay. Keep in mind, guys, that if you require or want to see more reports added into this section, you can just reach out to your independent or dedicated CSM and recommend any of these reports to be added to the platform. If you have an example on how this report can look, you can share it with us, and we can work towards implementation. Now that we're talking about exports and reports, for all of the reports that you're seeing right here, we have added something very interesting to the actual export appendix. As you recall, we used to export and imprint the financial information of the selected peers as part of the appendix. Now we have taken one further step. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second and reshare a valuation report with you. Okay. I'm going to show you the appendix section of that report. If you just give me 1 second. Just 1 second there. This is an example report that I imprinted a couple of minutes ago. As you recall, we before printed this financial information, but we now have added also the description of the company within the report. So this information comes from Capital IQ. You will be able to see the company name, the country of origin of the company, the industry, and when it was founded, all of that here at the top. And then you're going to find a quick description of the company that comes directly from Cap IQ. This is what you can see within the platform when you click the 3 dots next to the peer's name and just go to profile. Let me show you what I mean and what amount of information do we extract as well. Because as you may recall, there are some peers and some companies that have longer pieces of information. Okay? So for example, if you go to the 3 dots right here and go to the profile of this company, you're going to find a description that is the one that we are actually imprinted in the reports. In this case, it's a very, very lengthy description. What we do is we try to summarize to the first couple of paragraphs just for everything to be included in just one slide. We do not want to make this longer than one slide. But basically the description starts always with a summary of the company and what they do. So that's what we try to include in our reports. Okay? Now, that being said, those are all the features that we have rolled fully to all of our users. So every one of you should be able to use all the features that I just showed with you. But there are a couple more features that we are about to implement and that we're working to roll out progressively to all of our users. These are a little bit bigger implementations and a little bit more complex developments on our end. That's why we're rolling them out progressively. And the first one has to do with this screen and with the beta calculations. Okay? Before and originally, the platform or Valutico used to calculate betas based on 4 different indexes, depending on the country of the company that we're selecting. Basically, we use S&P 500 for the US, S&P TSX for Canada, MSCI developed markets for all developed markets, and MSCI emerging markets for all emerging or developing markets worldwide. Now we have made an upgrade where you're going to be able to change not only that, but the time frame and intervals for the beta calculations. Again, originally the platform used a 5-year time horizon with monthly intervals. Now, if I scroll all the way to the right, you're going to see the index that is being used for each of the companies. The index will be independent per company. So if you have one company from a different country or region, you can change the index just for that specific company. To do that, you just have to go to the 3 dots on the left-hand side of each of the companies and go to the beta section. And here you're going to see that you have an index selector. Within the index, you now have the ability to select from a broader range of indexes. Basically, we have added 3 indexes per region. So you have the S&P 500, LATAM 40, TSX, ASX, FTSE 100, S&P Europe 350, FTSE LATAM, S&P Asia 50, MSCI Asia Pacific, MSCI Brazil, MSCI Emerging Markets, EAFE, and South Africa. You can select any of these indexes, basically then save, and then you can also change the period and intervals. As you can see, I'm using a 3-year period weekly and not a 5-year monthly period anymore. To make that change, that's going to be a general change that applies to all of your companies, not independently. So the data is consistent and we can actually compare the betas. And to make that change, you just have to go to the beta section here at the top left corner. And at the bottom of the beta table, you're going to see the time horizon and interval. You're going to have the option to use 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years with daily, weekly, and monthly intervals right there. Okay? The only combination that is not going to be available is going to be 5 years with daily intervals, as there would be too many data points, and these may result in a buggy loading of the platform or in an error. But all of the other combinations you're going to have available. Okay. As mentioned, this will be rolled out progressively. So in the next couple of days or weeks, you should see this in your platform. We're making sure that there's no bugs and that everything is working fine for this. And this next feature that will be rolled out progressively has to do with the cost of capital or WACC calculation. As you recall before, under the valuation overview, you're going to find the WACC tree right there. So basically, here's how we calculated the WACC. And before this release, to change any assumption or parameter here, you needed to go to the change parameters section at the top and just find the discount rate section. As you can see right here, there's no more discount rate section because we have added an own independent cost of capital step right before the valuation overview. So if we go to the cost of capital step, you're going to see the same WACC tree, but this is a little bit clearer and a little bit more easy to understand. Now, each of the sections of the WACC tree is clickable, so you can actually go and select them independently. And at the bottom of the table, you're going to have a description of the section that you have selected, and you're going to have options to select different type of data. You can use your pre-group median, the industry median, or a manual entry for your unlevered beta. On the right-hand side, you're going to see graphics or tables that are going to support this information. For example, if I go to tax rate, I'm also going to see how the tax rate has evolved. I have the corporate tax rate in this case for the US, or I can do a manual entry. And basically, I can make all the changes that I want to any of these sections right here. You're also going to find a rationale section where you can actually go ahead and explain if you make a change or why it's important for your evaluation. And as always, everything here will be printed as part of the evaluation report. This graphic in this, let's say, format is not going to be printed itself. The graphic that is going to be imprinted is going to be the one in the summary, but all the changes to that WACC or cost of capital calculations are going to happen on this new step. Okay? There are a couple more features that we're planning to implement for the May release. I think our May release is also going to be pretty packed. But as when it comes to March release and the March updates, I think that's what we have implemented so far. As mentioned, this was going to be a little bit shorter meeting, so I'm going to go ahead and open the space now for questions. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to share them on the QA section, and we can more than happily respond them to you. So Steve, when you change the index, the market risk premium changed as well. This is not going to be the case because the market risk premium we take directly from Damodaran's website. This data is updated every 24 hours. I'm not saying that it changes every 24 hours, but we take the data directly from Damodaran's website. So this specific input is not going to be changed. Philip, yes, as I mentioned, the cost of capital section and the beta flexibility section will be rolled out progressively from last Tuesday until the May release. We are doing it by batches. We are first implementing it to 5% of our users, then we're going to increase that to 10, 25, 50, and then to all users. Which user gets the activation, it's currently being selected by the product team. As long as I understand, this is a random procedure. They're just taking certain accounts for all of the markets. So again, they should be there shortly between today and any point of the first weeks of May. Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of more minutes to send any questions. If you have any other. That's a good question, Mario. At the moment, we have just implemented in English as it's a global report. But if that's a request, we can work in towards a translation option for that specific report. We can work on a translation for any of the languages that we already have available. So maybe that's something worth mentioning to the product team. I will keep you updated personally if we have any development in that regard and when this is available for you. Hey guys, we're gonna wait for 2-3 more minutes for you to be able to input your questions. And by then we're gonna just call it a meeting. As mentioned, this was gonna be a very fast masterclass. I'm hoping the May one is a little bit longer, and I'm guessing it's gonna be a little bit longer. So yeah, again, please feel free to share any question that you have at the moment. Otherwise, in a couple of minutes, we will call it a day, and we will see you again in May. But for now, I will be waiting for your questions. Okay, I see there's no more questions, guys. So thank you for the time as always. Oh, Jose, there's a question. So at the moment, we are implementing a couple of upgrades to our AI section. We started by implementing on the first step of the evaluation process a new option for you to upload supporting documentation back in December. So the first step of the evaluation process, now you will be able to upload a PDF file on up to 10 megabytes of weight, and the platform currently extracts qualitative data from that report. So basically the name of the company, description, industry, location, currency. And our idea is that in the midterm, we're going to be able to extract also the historical financial information from those PDF files. So if you upload an annual memory of a company that includes the the actual statements, the platform in the near future should be able to extract that information for historical years. Currently, I cannot give you a time frame for that, or because this has not been yet fully prioritized, but that is in the backlog of developments that we have planned. And Giovanni, we are planning to implement an intangible assets evaluation method. Okay, I don't know if this is going to be a specific section, if this is going to be included as a part of the evaluation methods, or if this is going to have its own independent step. But of course, this is also in the backlog as well. And just as a quick addition to that, this is already being worked at, and we will already have, let's say, a mock-up model that we need to review and just discuss with the product team how the implementation will go. But yes, this is on the backlog of the. Hey guys, let's wait 1 more minute for you to formulate your questions. Otherwise, we can call it a meeting. Okay, I think this has been a pretty short and straightforward session. Uh, if you have any analyze at the moment, what we use actually is full fiscal year multiples. There are plans, and we're working towards implementing last 12 month multiple for peers. That's also in our backlog. We're trying to prioritize that for these year releases. I do not know if that's going to be for May or July, but we are trying to prioritize also including the option for last 12 month multiples. But currently, we use full fiscal year multiples. Just to respond to your question. Uh, So, Philip, the idea that we have in the long term, and that's also why we're doing this merge valuations in this under the same name, is that we're going to be able to have, I don't know, the dashboard or a way to review how the value of a company has changed. So the idea is that you make multiple valuations. It can be a valuation pre or post acquisition. Later on, you're going to see how the value of the company has changed and what the implications have been. Again, this is a mid to long term goal that we have, but at the moment we're making baby steps towards that. Also towards, let's say, joined working, so or multiple people working on same valuations or the same projects at the same time. So we're making small steps progress towards that. But yes, it's part of our plans in the mid to long term. Okay, guys, I think we're gonna call it a meeting with that. Thank you for your questions. As always, I'm pretty happy to help you with your responses. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to your dedicated CSMs. We can help you out with anything that you require. And I hope to see you again in May with the May updates and for the masterclass. May updates and release is going to be a little bit bigger than this one, so I hope we stay a little bit longer than today. And as always, I'm pretty happy to help you out with anything that you need in case you want to reach out to me directly. Okay. Hope you have a great rest of your days and a great rest of your week as well.